What are social relations? Perhaps in simple terms, social relations are considered to be having strong connections, good communication skills, and being social in general. But the point is that this phrase has a more complicated behind the scenes. Combining social policy and social management techniques ultimately leads you to a skill called social relations. On the other hand, social communication may be correct with the same simple definition that we have in mind. Every morning when people wake up, they review their daily schedule in their mind, arrange their work appointments, chat with strangers on the subway or bus, and generally prepare themselves to be in the community and establish social relationships. Many people think that social interaction is a simple and everyday task, but the question is whether everyone is successful in establishing their social communication. Social communication is a set of social policies and managements that cause different social behaviors in different situations, whether simple daily interactions or work interactions. Of course, these relationships have different types according to the conditions mentioned. Types of social relationships. In total, 6 different types of social relations have been defined, which are described in detail below. 1. Emotional communication. Emotional communication, as its name suggests, refers to those types of social communication in which one of the communicating parties assumes the role of the person who arouses emotions in the other party. For example, if you have participated in motivational conferences, generally the speaker of the conference is responsible for arousing your emotions by establishing a social connection. The skill of using these techniques may be innate in some people, but others can also learn and apply them. 2. Reflexive communication. Reflexive social communication happens when you communicate with the other person without any previous mindset and only in reaction to the behavior of the other party. This social communication may be a daily conversation with your colleague while drinking tea, or even with a passenger who is traveling with you in a taxi, and such an old woman who asks you for help and, in fact, your response in this type of social communication is completely dependent on the communication of the other party and will reflect his behavior or words. Establishing this type of communication, like all types of social communication, requires social intelligence. As Daniel Gelman rightly explains in his book Social Intelligence, our brain is influenced by our social relationships with others, and in many cases, it actually acts like a mirror. In this book, Gelman points out features in our brain that show it is organized for social life. 3. Global communication. Global communication has a long history. Whether in the past, when this communication was established with the help of tools such as telegraph and sending letters, or now with a few clicks on a personal computer, or by activating an option called Wi-Fi on your smartphone, your global communication will be established. It must be said that these days, due to the ease of global communication, almost everyone uses it. 4. Motion communication, movement communication, as its name suggests, refers to a set of body movements that lead to communication. In other words, body language is exactly the definition of movement communication, in which you convey a message to the other party consciously or unconsciously with different movements. Decoding the real message of people through body language is a wonderful world that will undoubtedly help you improve your interactions with others and get to know them. For example, by using body language techniques, you can find out when someone is really telling you the truth and by what gestures you can use without saying a word, you can win the trust of the other party. 5. Direct communication. This type of social communication refers to the relationship between person and person, or group and group. The number of people is not considered here. Directly, and there is no need for intermediaries in communication. Of course, it should be said that this type of communication is not limited to face-to-face relationships, and digital tools may be involved in creating it today. A direct social connection, like the work connection of two colleagues to complete a single project. 6. Goal-oriented communication. In this type of social communication, people engage in social relations with each other with a specific purpose. Suppose you are the CEO of an international company and you have an appointment with a potential client. The goal of both of you in setting up a business meeting is to achieve benefits that can make you a good profit. Therefore, your social communication will be goal-oriented. It is interesting to know that this type of communication is completely opposite to reflective communication. But how to achieve this goal? You should know that this type of relationship requires its own special skills. The importance of social relationships in life. In today's world, everyone needs to communicate with others to meet their needs, even simple and basic needs, and socializing is inevitable. Even not only in adulthood, but since childhood, humans take the first steps to communicate with those around them. If your public relations are weak, you will fall behind in many things, and it will be more difficult for you to achieve success in your personal and work life. In general, weak public relations means to be away from people and isolated. Now that public relations is so important, this topic will always come up to you in different periods of life, how we should communicate, what we should do to improve our public relations, and what we should not do, and how to improve public relations. 15 methods, guaranteed. Let's get to the topic of how to improve our public relations and communicate more effectively and better with others. In the following, we will examine 15 effective solutions so that you can strengthen your social skills and have a better position in society. 1. Practice listening well. In order to have good public relations, one of the most important things is the skill of active listening. It is not enough to just listen to the words of the other party, but you must learn to listen to him with enough attention, understand his feelings, and react appropriately. When people talk to you, they should feel like you're listening with empathy and not making hasty judgments. In short, they must feel safe to be able to talk to you. 2. Don't be fanatical. If you are asking how to improve our public relations, we must say with free thinking. Of course, throughout your life, you will meet different people who have different lifestyles and opinions. You can establish a good and healthy relationship with people when you are not dogmatic and bigoted. Hear different opinions and keep an open mind. Control your thoughts and feelings, and don't get angry when you hear opposing opinions. Of course, be careful not to fall off the roof. Don't constantly censor your ideas and opinions, and don't agree with everything to get the attention of others. 3. Do not underestimate the power of body language. In order to have a positive impact on others and establish effective relationships, you must learn to use body language. Human communication is not only limited to verbal communication. Nonverbal communication is also very important. How to improve our public relations and shine in our communications. with the help of body language. Learning and using body language is very important in all meetings, especially the first meeting. In the first meeting, the person's mentality towards you is formed, and it is very effective in the continuation of the relationship. So you need to make proper eye contact, smile, and be friendly, not defensive, be mindful of how you sit and things like that. If you can gain the trust of others in the initial meetings, the power will be in your hands and a good relationship will be formed. 4. Always study and be up to date. You will have common words with others when you are updated and follow the news and new events. As for how to improve your PR and keep the conversation going, or even start the conversation, keep up to date by reading and following the news, so you always have something to say. Of course, we suggest that you don't go too far towards controversial and borderline discussions, so that things don't get into trouble, especially when you don't know much about each other yet. Another point, perhaps this point itself, can be raised as a golden solution, is that a person can read between the lines. That's what politicians do. That is to say, from the discussions and essays, we can understand the points that are not written, but the writings are conveying the same topic. That's why they say that you should be able to read between the lines, although it may be difficult. 5. What are your values in life? In order to have effective and positive relationships, you need to go to the right people. In this regard, you must first define your values in life. See what is important to you, what you like, and what is a red line for you. Then based on that, you can find the right people for your relationship. You can never have a good social life if you hang out with the wrong people. On the contrary, if your values and the society around you are compatible, you will have better public relations and social life. 6. Get to know the people around you. Know who you want to connect with. In fact, let's say that you should spend time getting to know people so that you can establish good relationships with them. Knowing people also includes knowing people's characteristics, their interests, their problems, their reactions to various issues, etc. When you get to know people, you can better understand and relate to them. At the same time, by getting to know the people around you, you will get the opportunity to pay attention to them at the right times. Anyway, humans also like to be noticed and cared for. 7. Speak simply and clearly. We said above that to strengthen public relations, you must always be up to date and have good public information. But in relation to how to improve your public relations, you must also remember to speak simply, clearly, and calmly. That is, it is not only important that you have something to say, you must pay attention to a series of important points to communicate with others. For example, to speak simply, talking complicatedly does not show you as a special and literate person, and it makes the other party tired and confused. People must understand and understand your words. So to speak, you must pay attention to the level of awareness of the listener. At the same time, pronounce the words correctly and speak calmly. If you speak quickly and with stress, you will not be able to convey your meaning and feelings correctly. 8. Don't be talkative and give others a chance. Conversation is a two-way thing, so if you are talkative and only you talk, you will not be able to communicate well. Do not talk one after the other without interruption. Sometimes give time for others to speak and express their opinions. Even if you notice that your partner is quiet, invite him to talk and ask his opinion, in a way that does not bother him. 9. Meet new people. Finally, we have a recommendation for you on how to improve your public relations. Try to meet new people. You should put yourself in situations where it is possible to meet new people and groups. For example, go on a trip with travel tours, participate in film review sessions, and each new person will introduce you to a different and new world. Your circle of relationships will expand. Your public relations will be strengthened. You will learn new things and gain experience. You grow and develop. And 10. Strengthening personal information. When you have information about different topics, you will participate in discussions and conversations with more confidence and express your opinion. So try to read about the topic of conversation if you know it before participating in a social interaction with others. 11. Expansion of communication. If you want to have better social connections, try to participate in groups more. Avoid being isolated and introverted so that you can take an important step in increasing and strengthening your social relationships. 12. The natural progression of the communication process. Let the whole process of your social communication, no matter how important and formal, flow naturally. Never force yourself or your partner to do anything. This will gradually make you witness a social growth in your next relationships. 13. Being friendly. Being friendly is important in making social connections with people around you. If you think you didn't have a good day and you can't be nice, it's better to postpone your appointment to another day so that you don't have a negative effect on communicating properly. 14. Mutual understanding and empathy. Even if you think you don't understand what the other person is saying, it's better to show sympathy even if it seems to be the case. This will make the other person feel better about talking with you and won't regret your choice to establish a social relationship. 15. Reading useful books. Try to read the world's best books on strengthening social relationships. Of course, reading books on body language and negotiation principles will also help you. In the following, you will learn more about the books in this field. What are the benefits of strong public relations? Up to this part of the article, we have reviewed important and effective tips on how to improve our public relations. Now let's see what advantages strong and successful public relations will have. Getting to know new people, increasing the self-confidence, becoming stronger against problems, getting more success in your personal and work life, gain a better social status, being respected by others, reducing stress and depression, and improving mental health. Last word, how to improve your public relations. In this article, we tried to express really effective and useful tips to strengthen public relations. Good social relations, like many other things, are not necessarily acquired, and with practice, you can learn how to deal with people and improve your public relations. You should know your weaknesses and shortcomings and work on them. As a good conclusion of how to improve your public relations, remember to be positive. Keeping negative thoughts in your mind that I can never have high public relations, I don't have and will not have successful relationships at all, I can't make friends and communicate with people, etc., will do you nothing but harm. Instead of giving wings to these thoughts, improve your public relations by reading, practicing, and if necessary, seeing a psychologist.